Mark here, and welcome again to RC Hacker Gaming. And again, we're playing Kerbal Space Program, and we are on career mode. And this is the second video in the series for playing career mode. Now, where we left off last time, I just managed to get into orbit. So let's continue with that last game. Now, first thing I want to do, I want to make use of all that science that I earned in the last one. So I'm going to go for general rocketry here, and I'm going to choose advanced rocketry, and that's it. That's all I've got room for. Now while you weren't looking, I went ahead and I designed some rockets ahead of time. So I need to upgrade my launch pad. Let's upgrade that. And while we're at it, let's have a look at the available missions. They're always good to do, but the goal with this rocket that I've just designed, I actually want to get to the moon. Let's leave them for now. Right, let's have a look at our rocket. Right, so we're going to call this Moon 1. Now, this has been somewhat tested. Not fully tested. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to make it all the way, but we'll give it a crack, hey? I've got no science on board. This is pretty much bare bones. I've got this data recorder here. That's part of the Kerbal Engineer plugin, Kerbal Engineer Redux plugin, so I get those extra readings as I'm flying, which should be pretty helpful. And I guess let's give it a burn. Oh, we'll look at the staging first. We've got a swivel rocket down the bottom here. We've got a Terrier rocket here. That's this little one. Very efficient. You'll find you'll be using that even later on as you continue playing. That rocket stays very current. I've got another Terrier engine there, and 3 big boosters down the bottom here. Actually, before we launch, let's just go and check. Because I've got a swivel down the bottom as the main rocket, we can probably see if we can test that swivel motor and get some, here we go. Let's try this one. Test the swivel. Let's accept that contract. Now, the thing about these R&D missions is quite often it's quite specific altitudes and things like that that you've got to deploy them. So quite often you end up building a specific aircraft to achieve these goals. So I don't like to do them all the time. Let's just stick with that one. And another thing, if you accept a mission that you have not got the parts for already, then you'll be able to use that part straight after. So if I accept this one, then I'll have access to the radial decoupler ahead of time. But as soon as you complete that, you know, you can use that regardless of what science levels you are. But as soon as you complete that mission, you lose access to it again, which is you'd think you'd get to keep it after you get to test it, but no, you don't, unfortunately. What else we got? Ferry a VIP to their destinations. Where do they want to go? Suborbital space flight. And another one. Anyway, we've got plenty of cash. Let's go and launch that aircraft that we were talking about earlier. So I've got all this extra information here. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Delta V's. And let's do this. We're really starting to lag a little bit here. It's not even pointing straight. Oh, this is a disaster. I've got no control over this whatsoever. I'm going to be putting this one into a polar orbit, which is not really helpful for us. Well, let's just stick with it and see what happens. Whoa, 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 whoa. Right, we're back in control. I really don't even think this thing's going to even get into orbit at this stage. Well, and we're going for a full flip. Well, let's let it go around. Now, this is obviously a fail. I'm not going to get to the moon. I'm going to be struggling just to get into orbit at this stage. Plenty of fuel though. Well, we might achieve our contract if we're lucky, although I think I've got to actually fire the rocket. Yeah. That's it, we're out of fuel. Alright. Let's go back to the vehicle assembly and try again. Let's just pretend that never ever happened. So the main problem there, I thought, was stability. So let's add some more fins and hopefully that'll help us out. What do you think? Will that be enough? They're only light. Let's add some more just to be safe. Ah, there's my reason why I didn't have so many fins on there. I've now got too many parts. Alright. We can definitely take away 6. Let's try that. Come on, let's keep this in the middle. Oh, my poor old computer's struggling a bit with this launch. It's not even a very complicated rocket. Come on, baby. No, same again. I just don't have enough thrust. Let's go back. Let's just take out that stage there. Oh, I do believe that gave us a little bit more delta V there. 4527. 4568. It's pitching over far too early, and interesting, it's pitching over towards the engineers thing there. Let's try something out. Let's stick 2 of those puppies on. There we go, that might even it up a bit. Now, I can't remember. Oh yes, I did have the thrust limiter on these babies too. They're all the same, 66, 66, 66. Right, let's launch that. Well, yes, it's tracking in the middle now. Fantastic, it's not pulling over like that. So these little things here actually do produce a significant amount of drag. Still not entirely happy with this launch. Now what I did then, I just used it a little bit right at the start to kick it over to the right. So we want to fly on this 90 degrees direction to match the spin of the Earth. Yeah, now we're on track. Much better. I've got very little control at the moment until I actually get that swivel motor going and these boosters off. I'm going to not be able to control what direction this rocket goes in at all. I'll just let that coast for a little bit. And we're off with the swivel motor. Now I have control. So I'll try and correct that. Get the pit back on that 90 degrees line, and that'll help me when I want to head for the moon as well. Try and bring that back. Now apoapsis is up at 70, which is our orbital height. Let's just cut the engine and coast for a little bit. And this is where the flight engineer comes in really good, because it shows you the settings up the top here. So what I tend to do is I'll wait until I get up high enough and I'm looking at this time to apoapsis, and there'll be a point where you're flying towards the pip here And as you give it full throttle, this time to apoapsis won't go down and it won't go up either. So right now we're coasting up, just coasting, and we want to do our all our burns either at our apoapsis or at our periapsis. That's the most efficient way to move around space. So we're just going to wait and wait and wait. Shouldn't take too long. Wait until we're up high enough. Cue the space music. Right, now I'm going to give it a little burn. See, that time is still going down. I might have left this a bit late. I'll bring that pip up a bit while I'm at it. Angle it back a bit, slow down that time to apoapsis. Now we're getting stable. Right, so it's just, I'll go back a bit, you can see it might even start to increase. Definitely stay in the right spot. It's increasing a bit now. So I'm watching that time to apoapsis, so I just want to keep it at 5 seconds. And now we're watching that periapsis height, and when that hits 70, we're in orbit. Reduce thrust a bit now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kill it. Not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. How much delta V we got left? 2,700 meters per second. So that should, I hope, get us to the moon. Now, before I do that, I'll just quick save that. I'm going to go to the Space Center. Now, what I want to do, I want to have the ability to do flight planning. So, flight planning means we can actually predict where our orbits are going to go. So, we're going to upgrade our mission control, and we're also going to, you can see it says there, tracking station upgrade required for flight planning, and we'll also upgrade our tracking station as well, and we'll do that. Right, done. Go back to our tracking station and select our Moon 1 rocket. Excuse the rattling there. Okay, now if we go to our map mode, now we can do cool stuff like click here and add a maneuver, and this takes a lot of the guesswork out of going to the moon. So we're performing a maneuver. If we increase these ones, these are burns for prograde and retrograde. Now if we click on the middle part there, we can rotate this around until we get an encounter. Now an efficient way to do the encounter is do it so get a big orbit like, let's say like that. So that, in a way, is a slingshot effect. So that'll throw us out of Earth orbit as well, I think. Yeah, that'll throw us right out of orbit if we perform that maneuver. So it's going to come around, swing past the moon there, and it's going to flick us back out. So we're going to do this burn, and what does the burn say? It's a burn worth 861 meters per second, and we're going to do that in about 22 minutes. So in about one orbit, and that's on the sunny side too, so that'll look pretty cool. We don't want to go past our 20 minutes down the bottom there. There's also another cool feature you can do, which is warp to maneuver. I'll show you that. Click here, warp to next maneuver, and that will bring you within a minute of that maneuver. That'll automatically warp it for you. That's a cool view. Right, now as soon as we get there, we've got 50 seconds to get to a burn time. There's a convenient little arrow to tell us where we want to point. It's prograde. And we want to point at that blue thing there. So I'll bring that onto target. Oh, now because we've got some skill points, we've got some extra features here. We've got the prograde and retrograde tracking and stability assist, which is all done by Jebediah Kerman here. No electronics needed. Good old piloting skills. The only thing with watching our systems like that, we want to watch our electric charge doesn't drop down. So I'm going to turn all that off for now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's start the burn straight away, because it's going to take 30 seconds to perform the burn. So I probably should have started it a little bit earlier. Let's have a look. Where did we end up? Do we have an encounter? Yes, we do. Oh, now we do. So it's important to chase this maneuver, particularly because it's such a tiny amount of delta V now will make quite a bit of difference to where we're going to end up. Right now we're going to hit the moon, so until I see that, there we go. There's a periapsis, we're going to come within 32 kilometers. And how much fuel we got left in this stage? We've got a bit of fuel left in this stage. 219 meters per second. Ugh. I don't know. Are we going to have enough to get there? Right, so we can mark that maneuver as done. And I'm going to just warp to this point instead. Now, if you want to, at a midpoint like about here, you can make extra corrections just to direct where you're going to end up in orbit around the moon stuff. We're going to be in a funny orbit by the time we get there. Let's change focus to the moon there. Now, if you haven't got to the moon on your own, it's really worth, don't copy what someone else has done. Don't watch this video. Well, I do want you to watch this video, but go and give it a try yourself and then see how I've done it. It's when I first played the game, landing on the moon was such an achievement. It felt like such an achievement. It was awesome. And it's not often you get that sort of feeling with single player games these days. I found it really, really awesome that first time I landed on the moon. Right, so at this point we're going to add another maneuver and we want to get ourselves into orbit. What's that going to cost us? 224 meters per second. Oh, we've got 219 left in this stage, so let's just, we're going to adjust this to figure out where we might end up. So we're going to end up leaving a bit of space junk around the moon. Let's accelerate time a bit. Whoa, I've gone past it. Uh-oh. Damn it. And I'm not lined up either. Oh, hopefully we can save this. Otherwise I've got to go to my previous save point. Oh, what an idiot. Damn it. Whoa. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Can we do it? Can we do it? Burn, 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 burn. Yes, we're in orbit. I can actually leave it there now. We've got a capture. I can come back around here and do another burn. How much is that going to cost us? Oh, 130. We're not going to quite make that. Warp to next maneuver. Let's do that. It's a safer option, isn't it? And have a look at the pretty view. Whoa. Oh, and I missed it again. What happened there? Doesn't matter. It can go around again. Oh, it's leaving it in time warp for some reason. Time to periapsis 57 seconds. So that's where it's really, really useful. Now, we've got no retro rockets or anything like that. We're just using the reaction wheels that are in our little pod there. Let's make use of our Jebediah. You can do that work. Yeah, bring it on target. Great. 23, 22, 21. Now we can jettison that stage. Unfortunately, we're in the dark side here, and we'll just slowly bring that down. Bring us around a bit more. Right on the periapsis. What are we at? We're at 13 kilometers there. Let's match it on the other side. Why not? Now, this is a very low orbit, but it'll give us a spectacular view. Let's turn off that stability control. Keep an eye on this electric charge. That's our maneuverability. We don't have a lot left. It seems I've used a lot. If you leave your stability control on and time lapse, it can burn through that really, really quickly. Rightio, let's bring it around. Not a lot of daylight. Now, interesting to note, just the other day, NASA put up all these photos that were taken with these beautiful Hasselblad cameras, and they put them up on Flickr. So you got all these beautiful old NASA photos and stuff, and I've been going, I spent a whole evening going through them, and they're full resolution photos, straight scans of the prints, and there's been no after image processing done to them, and you can take them and stick them into your favorite Photoshop or whatever and add a bit of contrast, and they look absolutely stunning. I'm going to print off a few big poster size prints, I think, because they look really, really beautiful. Oh wow, look at that. Yeah, you got to look out as you're orbiting the moon. It's worth going around a few times and just having a look around, because there's I know there's certainly one object that sticks out. You can see it from a low orbit and really worth getting to. It's quite a challenge to get to it, but if you see it and you can fly to it and land on it, really, really cool. But we're not going to do that today. We're just going to float around and we're going to find our own spot. Where are we going to land? What do you reckon? I want to be on the bright side. Let's try here. Let's try there. So what I might do to start with, I'm just going to reduce our height a bit more. Right, now we're definitely going to hit the deck. Turn that stability control off. So what we want to do at this point, we want to kill our velocity entirely and then come down, come straight down. It's not the most efficient way to do it, but it'll get us there. And so we're basically bleeding off everything, all our speed, 542 meters per second. We're going to cut off there, and that's going to bring us straight down. Love those little tape decks on there. Think I might need to invest in a better computer. Frame rate is terrible on this, and Windows went and upgraded itself and made it all worse. It was actually playable before I did my first episode, then Windows decided to download gigabytes and gigabytes of data, and upgrade itself, and now the gameplay's crap. I'm actually a Mac person. Do most of my work on a Mac. And I used to be a software engineer too, and writing Windows software is really like banging your head against a wall a lot of the times. Particularly with the Windows APIs and stuff. We used to find that we'd spend 5% of our time trying to get around doing, spend 90% of our time doing like 5% of the work just trying to get around bugs which Windows would cause us. Now we've chosen a spot. I guess it doesn't really matter where we are. Let's just do it here, see if we can get closer to this crater. Oh, we're definitely going to miss that. Probably don't want to leave my well, I'm losing electric charge rapidly. So if I leave that stability control on, it's all over the place. Right, so we're way off where we wanted to go. Let's get rid of that. Where are we going to hit? We're going to end up somewhere around this crater. I'm going to turn on the stability control. Jeopardise it. Oh jeez, it's burning through that so quick. Bleed off that speed. Now if I had a few solar cells, I'd leave the stability control on and let Jeb keep the arse end pointed where we're going. But I'm going to have to do this manually. We have a shadow. Oh, I actually started going up again there. Oh, and... oh no! I've destroyed our motor. Oh, but, well, almost. Thought maybe we've landed up the right way. Can we kick that back up? At least make it look good. Whoops. There you go. No one will notice. No one will ever notice that we've lost the engine there. So, almost got that in. We're running particularly low on electric charge. We've got no delta V now because we don't have an engine. And you know what? I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to cheat and go back and load this again. We're going to turn this, of course, into a rescue mission. Can I do an EVA yet? No, I can't. I've got to upgrade my astronaut complex. Can we do a crew report? Yes. Can I transmit that crew report back? No, because I don't have an antenna. Whoops. Yeah, probably should have put an antenna on this spacecraft as well. Okay, so in our next video, we'll be doing a rescue mission. Let's just go back to the Space Center and see if we can do an EVA. Actually, there's no point in doing an EVA. He's not going to be able to transmit anything back, is he? So no one actually knows whether he's okay or not. Probably got enough cash to get back there again. Anyway, thank you for watching, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to design my new rescue rocket. Obviously base it on the Moon 1, which got there. I had some issues with this, with power, storing power. I wasted all my science on those advanced rockets. So, yes, I'm going to have to redesign something else. Oh, I don't even have any. I've got to send a person. I've got to send 2 people to rescue him. Oh, this is going to be quite a challenge, actually. I might have to earn some more science along the way. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.